Welcome back to another video with Team Olympus. We've got Tyler giving us a deck profile of his Cell deck. And this deck is absolute cancer, so if you like people hating you and you like being a tool, and then go ahead and feel free to play the deck. That's my personal opinion because I have not had a good time against this deck. But it is a very strong deck and it is very good. So
yeah.
Let's
But you nearly destroyed me though.
Let's let Tyler get into his profile.
Alright, yeah. So first of all, I go ahead and I run 4 cell bursts. I do this mostly because you want to see it in the beginning because you want to have the option to be able to get your cell out for less, and just being able to always have the pressure of, hey, I could drop you down to 3 at any time. It's just really scary for the opponent, and that's why I feel that 4 is a good number, and you can use extra as energy, and then also just it decreases all of them by 2. So say you ended up getting unlucky and you have one of your perfect cells in your hand, well, now that is a 5 cost, or if it's one of the promos, it's a 3 cost. So it's just really good, lowers all the cost of all the cells, and it just can really help you get out some plays. It can help you recover from some bad draws, and that's why I just like to have 4. There's never a time where and plus with Cell's ability, there's just like never a time where I feel it's bad. And that's another thing here is like, I like to run a playset of most of the cards in this deck because there's not really much of a thing as a dead card in this deck due to Cell's ability. Because any card in your deck is a card that can force you to draw 2, or it can cause you to blow something up depending on which side you're on. And that's just really good in my opinion. It just really helps the deck stay consistent because you're constantly drawing more, and you're able to just go, okay, this is a card I don't need in this game. I can throw it away and I can get something better. So anyways, moving on from the leader now, our next is a full play set, so 4, of Growing Evil Lifeform Cell. Once again, you just always want to have the pressure of being able to drop them to 3. You want to always have the option to go and search for any other cell you put in here besides the main combo one, because I'm actually running a few extra ones, which I'll get into in a minute. But, so, it's just always good to have it. You can easily get it out. I mean, it's either 2 or 3, depending on if you have cell birth it out at the time, and either way, it's a low cost, it's 15, and it lets you search your deck and pull out whatever you want, and it lets you pull out anything that costs 5, and the only cell card that doesn't cost 5 or less right now is the Perfect Cell SR from this set too. So there's this one by itself can target every other cell in the game, which just makes it an insanely good card in my opinion. And so next, I play 4 Evolving Evil Lifeform Cells. Honestly, the reason I do 4 is just because, well, first of all, as I was saying earlier, with the cell leader, it's just basically there's no such thing as a dead card. So, and I want to see this in my deck. I don't want to see this in my life. I don't want to see this in my hand. I want to see this in my deck. So, this gives me the most chances for it to be in my deck and for me to not get screwed over and it be in my life or in my hand, and then me just not being able to pull off the combo as well. So I put 4 in. You'll get it in your hand, and then you'll just throw it away to either blow something up or draw 2 cards, so it's not a big deal. And that's why I just feel it's really good to just go ahead and play 4. There's just not much of a downside other than you run out of room for other cards. So next we play 3 Perfect Force Cells. It's kind of the same situation as with Evolving Evil Lifeform Cell. The difference is that with this one, it's just we're only ever really going to play it once, maybe twice if a game goes on long enough. So just seeing 1 in deck is fine. While with the other one, we might want to see multiple, because sometimes I've even gone through the trouble of evolving from, or union absorbing from the 3 cost first form cell into second form cell, and then going ahead and doing the second form cell to go and look through a promo. And this is normally what I do if I want to blow something up and draw the card, or if I'm just trying to thin my deck some and I don't need perfect force cell out at the moment. And so that's why I do that. So next we are running 2 of the Power Stealing Cell, the Dash Pack promos. This is just a really good card in my opinion for whenever you're being stalled out at 5. We have TN. It's going to be in here. It's our option for whenever they're not attacking us at all. But if they're trying to stall us at 5, we just play 3-cost cell, and then we go into power stealing cell, and we're awakening that turn. And then on top of it, they're dropping a card, which they probably don't want to. It's especially dangerous if we get this out after we've dropped them down to 3. And then it's just a nice 20k double strike body, and there's no... It's a really good card for whenever you're stuck at that 5 life. And that's the main reason it's in here, is because you don't want to use TN when you're at an odd number of life. And so this is to kind of alleviate that. So next, we're going to get into the androids. So I'm running 4 Twin Sister Android 18. I'm just going to go ahead and say it straight up. I'm running a playset of all of both of the twins, and then of the 5-cost versions of both of them. And the reasons for that is, once again, there's just not such a thing as a dead card to me whenever it comes to this deck, because every card you can use to either blow something up, energy, like the only card that will brick still, in my opinion, is TN, and that's just if you get 2 in one turn, and you had something else that was bricky that you were putting down for energy. That's like the only situation where I feel that the hand bricks a little bit. And the other reason I'm playing 4 of each of them is because sometimes Cell just isn't the answer to winning the game, and you need the pressure that the twin androids and then the 5-cost versions of them provide. Because being able to draw back up to 4 after dropping your whole hand, and then the double strike and making them drop 1 with 18, it's all just very good for providing extra pressure and just forcing your opponent to maybe pay less attention to the 30k body that's also there. So, like I said, we're running 4 of Twin Brother Android 17 as well. And we're running 4 of Exterminating Energy and Android 18 and Expanding Energy Android 17. Again, this is good if you're really low on cards, which will happen quite a bit actually, so you can just refresh yourself a little bit and get back up there. And 18 is just a really good pressure card. In fact, it can finish a game quite often. So next, I got lucky and we actually got a hold of one of the Chilling Terror Android 17s. We've only got 1 so far, but this is a card that is going to go straight in. I haven't really thought about how I'm going to place in more at the moment. It's not my biggest concern. I'm probably only even going to run 2 anyways, because it's mostly just there to force them to waste removal on it. Because otherwise, it's just there, it's obnoxious, and if it's really useless to you, you can always just use it as the Union Absorb cost for the first form cell. So in my opinion, it's just a really good card to go through. I would like to have 2 of them. Right now, it's only 1. But being able to stop your opponent from drawing their cards when they awaken, and then forcing them to waste removal just to stop that ability is really nice. And so next we have our TNs. I run 3. 4 is way too bricky in my opinion. You honestly only really want to see 1 of these a game. But, you know, like I've been saying, as long as you don't see like 2 of them in your hand at the same time, it's not that bad. It's only whenever you start seeing multiple in your hand that you get a little bricky. And the main thing about this card is you have to be very careful with it, especially when you're playing against red, because you can't play it too early or else they have Batamo, Fickle Destruction. This thing is weak to so much removal in the game. So you need to play it whenever you know it's safe, and typically you'll be playing it whenever you want to awaken that turn. And so you have to be careful about that. And also, I would never just take all 4 of your energy on turn 2. I would just never do that. It's going to leave you way too open, especially to aggro decks. And so instead, I would wait until about turn 4, turn 5, and then place it out, get rid of some big threat that they played last turn, and then see what happens from there. You might bait it, you might not. But overall, it's a really good card. You just have to be very careful playing with it, because it can kill you. It can very easily make a game you should have won into a lost game. So next, we have Android 16. Again, this is in there 3 of. I mostly only run 3 of because I used to run 4, but then I got the promo 17, and so now it's down to 3. And 3 actually feels pretty great. You don't want to see him too often, but once he's out, you kind of want to keep him alive because he just can kill everything and then keep blocking. It's especially good against token decks and basically yellow decks in general. Because between the infinite coolers that he matches, so you'll have to combo or sensu bean. Sensu beaning is honestly a really good idea. Because if you do that, but obviously there's no sensu in this one because this is pure green. But putting in some blue is honestly a really good idea for this deck. I haven't decided how I would go about what I would remove. Because right now I've got a lot of answers to everything, but having that extra defense from blue would be really nice. And it would really help with this card with the sensu bean, so then it can block even more and just further make them not want to actually attack into me for fear of losing their cards to this. So next we have my answer to tokens. My other answer to tokens, we have Hidden Awakening Kale. I just really wanted a way to remove tokens like Gotenks and whatnot if my opponent's waiting a turn to use them. This is just a good way to go, okay, I'm just going to destroy them straight up because I don't want to deal with double strike. And then on top of that, being able to draw a card when you're at 5 or less, and then the crit is also just really nice. It makes it a very dangerous card to be up against. And honestly, and a really good combo is once you're done with TN, you play this card, and then you just sacrifice your TN because you're never going to get him off the board otherwise. Because paying 2 energy for the 1000 combo, again, is just not a thing you should want to do that often. And last for our battle cards, we have good old standard Trunks Protector of Children. I shouldn't have to explain this card by this point. We all know what it does. You draw, you get the card, and you get plus 10k whenever you're 4 or under. It's just a really good card. It's going to go... These kind of cards are going to be a staple basically forever. There's just no reason to ever not play these cards. There's only one real counter to them right now, and that is the SR Gohan that just came out. Besides that, there's never a situation where your opponent can really stop the benefits of this card. Because the worst they can do is they can take off the 10k, but then you've got it back in your hand, and you're going to be able to draw again with it. So that's what Jocko would do. So this is honestly just a really good part of that. The only other thing, I guess, is Cell, the Forceful Strike Cell, but once again, all you have to do is not combo with it first for him, so it's just really easy to avoid that, and these cards are just always going to be a good option. And now we're going into the extra cards. I'm only running 4. And they're just for a little extra defense and a little bit of extra removal. So we've got 2 full power energies. This is just my cheap. I don't care if this thing's alive or not, but I don't want to get hit by it. Or there's a 1 cost out that I really want to get rid of, like a Kind Saiyan, Sengoku, Akaba, targets such as that. This is just a really good card to have, and having it on turn 1 really helps because then you can just stop the early Kaba, especially if you're going against a deck that awakens at 6. You want to stop that Kaba from being able to attack twice. And then last we have Enraged Gohan Awakening. Now, I once had also the Father-Son Kamehameha, but I've honestly found that Enraged Gohan Awakening just ends up doing the job just as well. But this one I can do on their turn, so they're expecting it less. And you give up a card, and it costs 2 energy. It's a pretty steep cost, but being able to just flat out to pop whatever you want is just, whatever is attacking you is just really nice. Help stop the Gohans that get played for 2 energy. The Buhan that unit absorbs that Gohan and then gets that insane combo. And then also stuff like Cooler and Zamasu. It's just not Zamasu. Zamasu is invincible. But anyways, it's just a really good card. It gets rid of a lot of threats very easily. And it just can keep you from having to worry about taking damage for a turn, which can help especially when fighting against a red deck that is just destroying your life. So that's actually all for the deck list today. Feel free to give any constructive criticism or anything about that. I'm looking for ways to change the deck, especially to go against Vegito, because while this deck won our locals tournament, it was a very close match between myself and a Vegito. They actually only lost because they whiffed on a Babidi and got out two Kind Saiyan Son Gokus, and that was all their energy for the turn. If it wasn't for that, I actually probably would have lost. So again, thanks for watching.